Hello, Seedlings of Light. Welcome back to Black, Gray, and White. Our topic today is affirmations.
Cool. So what is an affirmation?
So, funny question that you should ask me that I don't know the answer to. So I'm just going to let you go ahead and answer it yourself.
It means to affirm.
Well, I could have figured that one out. So we're going to go ahead and talk about our favorite affirmations. So the one thing that I worked the hardest on with affirmation is body image. And I know that a lot of women suffer through body image. I noticed that every time I looked in the mirror, I would have something negative to say. Like, oh, these pants make my rolls stick out. Or, ooh, look at my double chin. Look how my mustache shines in the light. And I was so self-degrading. And it really took a toll on my self-worth and how I allowed others to treat me. So what my wonderful mother taught me to do, and she has led me on this healing journey, so I'm so wonderfully grateful for her. What she taught me to do is anytime that a negative feeling comes in, instead of allowing that to happen, I override it and I say I love and accept myself. And when I first started, let me tell you, I had to repeat that about 1,000,000 times a day. And my negative thoughts about myself were so prevalent, and that is all I could think. That was all that was going through my mind was negativity. And over time, that slowly changed and got less and less. And then I was able to add in more affirmations. And I guess you can tell them how you learned about affirmations.
So one of the great books that I will recommend is Heal Your Mind by Louise Hay. And Louise believes that every time you have an illness, something that bothers you, it means something. So you can do an affirmation for that. So
I've been dealing with headaches, so I had that one marked because I need to be working on that one.
Where was headaches?
Right here.
So on the headaches, the problem, it arises from invalidating the self and self-criticism and fear, which we, for some reason, the marketing with women, that happens a lot. Unfortunately, the self-image is degrading ourselves to find that perfect spot, the perfect woman.
That's our fridge. Welcome to real life. Yeah.
And so part of that invalidating the self, how you can change that pattern, reframe it, is I love and approve of myself. I see myself and what I do with eyes of love. I am safe. And that was all from Louise Hay. I started, she has a lot of products out there, a lot of books she wrote. She did just pass away. She was, I know,
that's
in her 80s or 90s. But changing that thought process, how do you do it? And she also has a book, Mirror, Mirror, and other things. But through this one, you're supposed to look in the mirror and start by looking at yourself and showing gratitude for every body part. And when I first started...
And stark naked. Let me tell you, you don't get to wear clothes and hide those little iffy parts. You got to stand there and face yourself. And the first time you do it, it's a rough one.
It's very rough. I don't recommend that right out the gate. I recommend just looking in the mirror and starting with the face. And the first day I started, I was all proud, get there, look in the mirror, and I start, and right in my part, I have a lot more gray hairs now, but my very one gray hair started. It was standing right up there, proud, and I thought, well, I love my gray hair. Let's start there. And just start going through, and I grew up with acne. Now I'm getting wrinkles, all kinds of life
fun challenges,
yeah. And so just loving them and accepting them for who they are. I just turned 54, and people won't ask my age, and I'm not hiding it anymore. I'm 54 and I'm proud. And when you start accepting those little steps and not letting society control you, it's pretty freeing. So part of that is, I would recommend any Louise Hayes. She does have a bunch of YouTube videos back in the 80s, so it's kind of fun to watch what was happening then. Her stuff is great. The other thing is starting with an intention in the morning. So with an intention, it means how do you intend to spend your day? And when I started my intention, I started that I was going to respond in love and joy. So whatever came at me, my my response was going to be love and joy. And then I just found out a year ago to do an intention at night. So at night, because that's when you rest, you heal your body, my intention is about healing. So I will say, in my world, God, after I say my prayers, just heal me through the night to do your work tomorrow.
And so I do the different one. I just say, universe, help me follow my path and heal me so that I am able to do that. I do a pretty blanket one. The one thing that I use affirmations for the most is I think that this happens to everybody, but I can only speak for myself, is when you get in those negative spirals and you're spinning out of control. Like you're just negative, like you're going through a situation, whether it's a bad day at work, whether somebody said something you didn't agree with, or you didn't get out of bed until 4 p.m. and you're just negative self-talking yourself. My blanket one that I use is I trust, and I just leave it at that. You can do I trust God, I trust the universe, I trust my path, whatever you do. And if you repeat that in your mind until you're able to see in a more positive light, and it's easy for me to say that on the other side of this now, but when you start, it will be challenging. And when I first started, I had to repeat I trust for about 10 minutes over and over in my head until it erased the negative spiral that I was allowing myself to go down. And the biggest challenge that I face is when I'm in those negative places, I don't want any positivity. I get it out of my face. You know what I mean? You just want to sit there and stew. But the second that you let that light and love fill you back up, you're able to maintain that positive outlook and that joy. And it really does make your day go better. It's very rare that I let an entire day be ruined. Not saying that it doesn't happen, because I'm human and bad days happen, but I try to keep the time frame less.
And as you practice the techniques, it does. Time changes. So 15 years ago, I had gone to an Ayurveda specialist, and she shared Louise with me. And so I've been working on affirmations since then. Recently, though, I found a couple of things that the technique that works best for me is releasing. So instead of internalizing whatever message or preconceived hurt we have, it's helpful to release. So if you want to start your affirmation with, I release, and in my case, it was a person at work. I was starting to get physically sick because I was so angry at them, angry and bitter and mad. And so I would release and I would say their name. And in my case, her name was Cookie, which is impossible, because have you ever met a cookie you don't like? For crying out loud, I feel that's impossible.
I've also been there with you.
Especially because it's Girl Scout cookie time. And
exactly.
There are always good cookies. So I release Cookie, and I release her to God.
And I release to the universe. It's just you change the modality, and you can even do I release and love.
And then the third thing is, so you release the subject, the person, the activity. It could be a feeling, whatever. I release my hate to God, and I'm only going to respond in a loving and joyful way. So pick a response that speaks to your heart. I chose love and joy because those are the highest vibrations, and we'll go into a video on vibration therapy a little later on, but that's why I chose those. And the other reason you want to end it in how you're going to respond is you need to tell your subconscious, okay, this pattern no longer works for me. What's replacing it?
And we probably should have gone to this in the beginning when I didn't know the definition of affirmations, but an affirmation reteaches your subconscious, right? So it reforms those thoughts about yourself, because that's what's controlling your body. So that's why you repeat it over and over again, is because you're training your subconscious to live into a higher vibration.
Yeah. So again, it's I release the feeling, the person, the emotion to your universe or to God, and how you're going to respond in a joyful and loving manner. And I will say, when I had that person at work, I probably said it 10 times every 15 minutes. So it's not easy.
You're reframing. So it's just like exercising, right? You're exercising your subconscious. Okay. So it takes work. Unfortunately, I wish there was a Band-Aid you could stick on and everything would go away. But unfortunately, you have to heal those layers and layers and layers in your subconscious. And it takes time. And I have been working on this for a short 5 years, so obviously I'm an expert. So, and I tell you what, every time I think I cross a mountain or I get to the top, another one rises right above me. Another joyous challenge rises right above me, and it's a continuous growth. So the other day, I have a crown issue. So I was at the dentist, which is everybody's favorite place to be, and they were drilling, and it's incredibly sensitive, and I might or might not have been being a little bit of a baby. We're not going to delve into that too soon. But I laid in that chair and I did deep breaths, and I just said, I trust, over and over and over again. And I was in that chair for about 45 minutes and I did it the entire time, and it helped. It gave me a sense of peace. It gave me something to focus on. It didn't let me spiral or clench or, I mean, I was still sweaty because I was at the dentist's office, but it allows you to work through that.
Yeah, and one of the things, a lot of health problems, they say dis-ease. We'll go into Ayurveda later, but it's the disease is just a dis-ease of your body. And so once your mind is tight, so your subconscious is clenching, and you think of this as your brain, you clench it, and if you clench your fist, realize how many muscles that hurts, and then all of a sudden your elbow starts hurting, now your arm starts aching. And so when you start relaxing your mind, which is a great example of your dentist, if she starts relaxing her mind, then your body doesn't have to compensate for that anxiety. So when you do the affirmation, that's a response. You're changing. Because she's been doing affirmations, for 10, 15 years, I had done little cards set up for all of my dis-eases, and have my
So like inflammation is my thinking is peaceful, calm, and centered. And one thing, which that example doesn't prove me, but one thing that I noticed from all the ones that I've been struggling with, like migraines, hirsutism, just all the problems that I solve, usually all go with I am safe and I am at peace. That's a common thread that we feel subconsciously through generations. I mean, we haven't been safe. So it helps that's what I've noticed across. And TMJ, I am willing to change the patterns in me that created this condition. I love and approve of myself. I am safe.
And so now you can say, I release these patterns, and I am only going to respond in love and joy. I release these patterns to God, and I'm only going to respond in love and joy. So it's a great way. So you can do cards, you can do...
So Louise Hay, it's Hay House is the website.
Yeah,
Love them.
House is the best website to get Louise.
And they have little affirmation cards. So they actually make little booklets with cards. We'll show those to you in another video that you can just pull a day. And it's kind of nice. A lot of them have to do with work, which I know is something that we all struggle with. So that helps. And that's our little...
Try it. Try this technique. Let us know how it works, how you feel, what your path is with the technique. Maybe journal. Start day one and tell us the level of effort that it took for that technique, and go 30 days. We want to hear your response. Tell us how you feel in your heart.
Yeah, anything that lies on your heart, please comment down below. Let us know how you're feeling today. Are you a little wilty in your flower? Are you growing big and strong? You can go ahead and email us at blackgrayandwhite1@gmail.com. Gray is with an E. And that's it. We're sending love and light to all you little seedlings.
Bye.